today David dedicated this lesson to Hensley, who was not only a great musician but also a great person. So that's one of his songs, so that's lyrics to one of his songs. And well, he was most famous, I guess, by his part in Uriah Heep Band and Lady in Black and songs like that. But if you listen to his solo albums, they're also very good. And of course it's not for us to say who's a good musician or a not so good musician. His music was good. But first of all, he was a really, really nice person. Kind and open and loving. So let's have a look. Very lyrical. When looking for a song to discuss, it wasn't an easy task because his songs are usually quite straightforward and they speak for you. They don't try to be clever, or they're emotional, they come from heart more than from mind, but they're very beautiful. So you can't really discuss a song which has just a few words in it, or which just says, oh, I'm so lonely without you. But let's have a look. So this one is called Longer Shadows, which is convenient. So Longer Shadows by Hensley. Winter came today and took the sun away, leaving me with nothing but the stars to play. But I'm sure that I won't let it bring me down. The rough comes with the smooth, but that's what life's about. Working on the principle that you'll be here, I can't stand alone for quite a while. I know I can learn to leave the changes of the year, mellow in the river of your smile. I know that the season's queen can hear me. She's bringing longer shadows to the trees. Perhaps she knows I'd love to have you near me, so she tries her very best to please, her best to please. I suppose I'll always have these memories till we are together once again, of the days which were so long and lonely, till the longer shadows and all the golden meadows tell me that the time has come for us to live again. Right. Comments, impressions?
Well, that's my first encounter with Ken Hensley and his songs, lyrics to his songs. And it does strike a chord. Although winter hasn't exactly come today, it might be here anyway. It might be, again, it begins with saying something about winter, something about longer shadows, and if you look at popular songs, including Russian songs, winter and shadow, darkness are usually associated with something negative, as opposed to something with which the poet or the singer praises, such as loving relationship or sunshine, smiles, and so on. It's interesting that, and in many songs I've heard, this is just the principle. If it's winter and it's cold, then no love is possible, and all the poet has to do is to wait and see if the spring finally arrives. It's not the case here, also it seems to me. It's like, yes, it's winter, there's no sun, I'm left with nothing, and yet I'm left with something that is quite marvelous, the stars, the mysterious queen who can hear the poet, the mysterious queen who can try her very best to please, and something about the memories. Again, the memories are probably traditional because many poems are based on sort of the poet remembering something nice, something that happened and is no longer there. But this seems to be a memory that has a promise in it, and all that makes this song, as you say, lovely, optimistic, and very, very, very fun, very something that one can derive pleasure from reading. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it sounds when you not just read it, when you sing it, but maybe.
Well, let's find it. Let's listen to it.
Oh, we can
This
find
is
it.
a song, so we can listen to it. Obviously, yeah, shouldn't be difficult. So while I'm looking for it, mm-hmm. Can you tell me what is happening here? What has happened here? What is the situation? What are we talking about?
Well, because I'm the one who only can touch the surface, the surface thing is that, as the first line tells us, winter is here, winter has come, and there's no more sunshine. The other thing is that there's no more someone who is you and who is not with the poet. However, there are some participants in the story as well, the stars, with which the poet can play the season's queen, who brings longer shadows, and longer shadows is the heading of the entire story. And finally, the poet's certainty that they are going to, he's going to have his memories with him till, and that's what he's pretty certain about, till they are together again.
So who are they who are together again?
Well, he doesn't exactly say that. If you imagine a typical poet who is writing about typical somebody who is absent, then you might imagine someone the poet loves, the love of his life or something. Wouldn't that be very probable?
Yeah, I guess so. So to quote a few different bits from different songs, like I'm here to die, no use denying that it's true. Spend my whole time crying, finding ways of trying not to be blue over you. Or another one, cause in my heart and in my head, cause in my heart and in my head are thoughts of how it used to be. But a world of memories is only emptiness to me. Or another one, it's raining outside, but that's not unusual. But the way that I'm feeling become unusual. So lots of lyrical songs, sad songs about part saying about his love being no more near him, which happily was not true in his real life, because he had a beautiful, loving wife. But as a narrator, as a poet, that is what he brings us. Because I guess we all feel lonely at some point of life, but not everybody likes to admit it. Because to admit that you're lonely and no one loves you, it's like, you're miserable. You're not worthy of anyone's love. You're weak. But we need it. We need it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to admit it. Okay, let's see if we can listen to it.
It's a funny song, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And, in this version, he says
Told.
for us to love again and here to live again. Because I guess he had an older version and a new version maybe. Because that is a new version, I think.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's also a difference. Tell me, he sings told me that the time has come for us to love again.
Yeah, but well,
Yeah, but
you sing it for years or
yeah.
a few times and you might want to make some changes to it. So we will work with that version
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So again, as you mentioned, there's a widespread notion, which is probably pretty new because many older poets sung their love, and I think one of the repeating themes in all poetry was that, oh, my love is no longer with me, and I'm feeling lonely. I'm very sad about her departure. But the more recent version of how we are expected to look at all those things is, as you say, you don't have to feel necessarily miserable if you are alone. You don't have to feel lonely. It's a negative thing. And in fact, what you have to demonstrate to the outside world is that you are independent. That no matter what happens to your love, no matter whether you are alone or not, you can enjoy life, and you sort of don't give a damn whether this is.
What do you think happens here?
No, that is not what happens here. So it runs contrary. And I'm not sure I know anything of those songs which are, well, let's say contemporary songs, contemporary.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's poetry.
Yeah, it's poetry. So contemporary poetry. I'm not sure I know anything about it, but probably again this notion of being independent and self-sufficient stands contrary to what contemporary poetry still has to say. And an interesting thing about Hensley's song here is that while saying, well, yes, I'm human, I can feel loneliness, and I'm not happy about being lonely, it also gives hope. This is not something that is going to be with me forever. It's okay, and even it's okay to remember better times when we were together, but it doesn't mean these can't happen again, and then we are going to leave again, because again there's for many poets true life only begins when we, the poet and the beloved one, are together.
The season's queen, bringing
the shadows and the
or maybe in a way, or even only if you love the thing, maybe he means it very literally. Because the impression I have of the lyrics of the song is that they haven't just parted in the sense, oh, I don't love you anymore, bye bye, but she died.
Yeah, that was something that I also was guessing at, but again there was no or maybe I don't see it, so there is nothing particular in the song that sort of points out the fact. So we might guess.
We have it.
Yes,
we have it. We say like winter took the sun away. Not like the sun. Obviously, it's your love.
Yeah.
It's not like the sun went away, said I don't need you anymore. But something came and took it. And winter. We start with winter coldness. We know that winter is death. Could be a death of emotion, death of love. Now it's winter because nobody loves me, or it can be winter in the sense of death.
Yeah, and again, you might say that if that is something final, if at least in the physical reality, if she died, then they are not going to be together, at least on this side of physical reality.
And that's what he says?
Yeah, that's what he says here. Again, it would have been a bit banal, I would say, to sing it the other way around. Okay, you left me, but you're going to regret it. You're going to be back, and then yeah. So this gives the song a much more profound meaning than just a plain story of. Again, we know that it can be very painful if she or he doesn't die, but just leaves saying goodbye and so on. And again, even though we might say it's like, well, okay, let me just keep my mouth just as well shut as the door is shut.
Okay. So yeah, it really seems like she died.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a very powerful situation. So how do we react to it? How does the narrator, the hero, react to it? What are his feelings about the girl? What are his responses? What is his self doing? Is it a strong character? Is it a weak character? Is it a character or is it just a cardboard figure?
Well, it seems to be a character because in the entire song he seems to be discussing what has happened with himself. Again, it's probably this internal dialogue that's happening, and the obvious reality says, okay, she died, she's no longer here, and she'll never be back. And that's what he says here when mentioning that he's left with nothing but. And this but is also something darkness and something that might appear in darkness. But he's strong enough and smart enough to not just stick to this obvious part of the reality. Again, if you're strong, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are devoid of any feelings. So he feels down, he feels brought down, but he says, I'm sure that I won't, and the important strong element here is I, not it, for example. It won't bring me down. That's what he doesn't say. He says, I won't let it bring me down. So he appears as a person, again, who is obviously struck by what has happened, who feels that life as he knew it ended today. Again, today meaning probably an extended period of time. And yet he is strong enough to, in his internal dialogue, he's determined not to let bring down. And again, he tries to see it from various angles. So if we say dialectics or something, he says the rough comes with the smooth. So he sees it from not just from a single perspective, which is probably very narrow, although the circumstances permit this view. He sees it from a much wider perspective, and he tries to be philosophical about it, and I think he succeeds. And again, the philosophical part is, for example, that's what life is all about, and the word principle is also something philosophical. He sees it also as a lesson to be learned. I know I can learn. I can learn to live, the next thing that is probably the most essential thing in the poem, if there is a single thing that is central to it, is this queen. And again, it's like he's talking to the queen. He's sure that she can hear him. The queen is obviously the queen that took the love away from him, and she knows, he thinks, he'd love to have her name. And again, that's not going to happen. But she says she's trying her very best to please. Again, we might try to explain what he means.
I guess I know what he means. It's very easy.
I'm going to restart the camera. Yeah, just about time.
Yes, we can take turns. First you talk for a camera record period, and then I talk for a camera record period. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, so is he trying to be philosophical about it, or is he trying to
come to terms with
to talk to himself, to persuade himself? Because what the situation we have here, why it's so powerful, we have, well, first of all, we have very strong emotion. We have love, which is no longer here, died apparently. Then we have two opposing forces, just like in physics. We have the power, the force of death affecting him, pulling him to the side because he loves that girl. He wants to follow her.
Yeah.
Now, if your love dies, then sometimes for people it's very hard to stay alive.
Yeah.
They need to exercise their will to stay alive, otherwise their body can just self-annihilate. That happens a lot when...
That happens a lot, yeah.
So we have one force, which is death, pulling him back to the darkness, let's say, to the nothingness.
And can I ask you a question? Because you say you have to exercise, oh, you, meaning him, meaning anyone in the situation, has to exercise his or her will to stay on this side. Do you, in that circumstances, have your will to stay here? You probably don't. And probably your will is sort of moving in the other direction.
It depends.
It's like not something pulls you. It's like you are going there, and something probably doesn't allow you to enter.
Let's think about it like in physics.
Okay.
Just normal Newtonian physics, because we don't believe
Shall
in
I bring this black box?
Einsteinish. Yeah, please. Because we don't believe in Einsteinish rubbish. It's useful, but not really. So we have a board, say, and we have different forces affecting the board.
Einstein and rubbish taken together make Rubinstein, the musician.
Okay, so we have a board itself, and we have opposing forces for all your life. Everyone, for all their life, we have two opposing forces: the force of death and the force of life. And normally the force of life is much, much stronger than the force of death.
Yes.
Yeah, so we went on, we continue. But otherwise the person just lies down and dies. Gets some... Yeah. Because if a person doesn't have the will to live, then his body follows it and just switches off.
Okay.
If the person has the will to live, then the body will heal. If there's any problem, the body will heal and continue. It's really well known. If a person has a purpose in his/her life, they will continue to live. It doesn't matter what all the circumstances are. So all your life, you have two opposing forces, the force of death and the force of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And when something like this happens here, the force of death becomes much stronger, because now there's another body. Yeah, again, if you believe in gravity, I don't believe in gravity, but still, another body on the side of death, which multiplies the force. Yeah? And that is the moment. That's the moment here. Why is it so tense? Why is it so powerful? It's the moment of balance, where the slightest tip decides which way the body goes.
Like he is sort of pulled in that direction, and he has to exercise, as you say, his power.
Yeah, because at the moment it appears that he is exactly in between life and death, and it's up to him entirely whether he lives or dies and follows his love. Because at the moment both are equally appealing to him. If he dies, he'll be with his love again. If he doesn't die, he'll live, and that's good too. It's good to be alive.
Is it?
Because it is.
Okay.
And that is where we see him, on the point of balance.
Yeah, so maybe I tend to agree with that. I'm not going to agree with you that it's good to live, but I'm going to agree with you that he probably sees something good in being alive, although he doesn't say what it is. So he doesn't share that mystery with the rest of us.
Being alive is great in itself.
Thank you.
Seriously, I mean, if you're a human being, an average human being, you don't have that much time on this planet.
No.
You'll go anyway, so you stay for a bit longer. Yeah, why?
Why?
Why not? Because it's good. It's good to breathe. It's good to feel. It's good to see colors and shapes. It's good to be alive. Life is better than no life. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, but it's that is because it's interesting also that one of our fellow thinkers who is skeptical about all this also sees that parts of our life are being snatched away from us by the current situation where we sort of
Darth Vader.
That doesn't. Okay. Yeah. So is it like? So it's not like just an internal dialogue. It's like himself feeling that he's being pulled by that force, which sort of wants to have him on the dark side, and his will, which is probably inclined in the direction of staying alive, and
So winter came today and took the sun away, and how about we pause for a minute now? How about we pause it for a second?
yeah, I'll do that because it seems that we are a herd of people, a herd of.
And finally, half an hour into the meeting, we can look at the first one. So we could look at the title, but what can we say? Longer shadows. So obviously, we expect something lyrical, something sad. Shadows, longer shadows. When do we have longer shadows?
As the evening approaches.
Yeah, in the evening. So shadows grow long, more shadows, sad, and that is exactly what we see here. So winter came today, and it could be just something pastoral about winter and how winter is nice or not nice, and took the sun away. Ah, now that is more interesting. Leaving me with nothing. Then it's personal. So from the first 3 lines we understand that it's not literal winter, partly, not literal sun. It's something very personal. And the sun as in love, because can you imagine, maybe you know such feelings, when the person you love is like the sun to you, and he or she comes into the room and it's like, oh, it's like the sun.
What do you mean here?
Yeah. So, and when they smile, it's like the sun shining. And of course, the sun is everything. No sun, no life. Easy as that. Very easy. So if winter comes and takes the sun away, that might be literal. Because we have very little sun in winter, especially closer to the northern regions, and when we can have night all day and all night.
Vitamin D deficit.
Fine.
Yeah, but it's not the situation here.
Yeah, so the winter came today and took the sun away. So first of all, we have 2, again, opposing forces, winter and the sun, coldness and warmth, death and life, leaving me with nothing personal. But if we use this image, winter and the sun, then from the first line, from here, we imply what? As opposed to, oh, my love's gone away, never come back. No. Oh, the camera knows. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the camera says that if you say winter and the sun, and you place it first of all into the natural frame of reference, you say that death is a part of nature, and you look not at a linear time, which is progressive human time, but you look at circular time, which is natural time, the seasons, and we have the word seasons later. Spiral.
Конечно, 12 часов, но я не приехала в 12, я вот только приехала где-то, сколько там было, к часу.
Okay, so when he says my love is taken away, but she will return.
Yeah.
It means when you die, you do not die.
Yeah, because these natural cycles mean there's going to be a sort of rebirth when spring comes.
Yeah. So winter came today and took the sun away. At this moment, winter appears to be much more powerful than the sun. It can just come and took it away. And the sun can do nothing about it. The same as it happens in nature. Winter comes, they don't have much sunshine and things.
Yeah. But again, we do have some sunshine, and here the situation is much more drastic because it's entirely dark.
Yeah.
And there's nothing left but darkness, not complete darkness because there are stars.
But still it means it's night time and there will be no sun. No sun, no light, easy as that. Nothing to warm you.
Yeah.
Nothing to keep you alive as such. So again, why leaving me with nothing? So he takes it personally, not just it happened, but it happened against me, to make me feel lonely. The winter knows what it's doing by taking the sun away. It's not because the winter wants the sun, it's to leave me with nothing, apparently. And of course, here we have the word leaving me with nothing. Leaving, we have the distance, the separation. The sun goes there and I'm left. Yeah, the word left again means left behind, where you should be together. Like, I'm alive, but it's a kind of a mistake. I'm left behind.
Yeah,
And now I
I'm
have
probably
to...
stuck there. I can't, because the sun has moved away, and I'm still there where I used to be, but now there's no more sun, and
there is nothing. So it's not just the sun, it's a whole world which is taken away from him. So would you like to stay when everything ends?
No.
No. So that is where he finds himself, unless he finds another source of life in him, not outside, but inside him, living with nothing but the stars to play. So we have this dark, we don't see ground, we look at the sky, we look first at the sun, which is taken away, then the stars which come in its place. We don't see ground, so he might be somewhere in the outer space, or we know. Living with nothing but the stars to play.
Yeah, and if we saw the ground, we would have seen snow, which is natural in winter, and again, snow is usually there's some low to it.
Down, we don't see snow.
We don't see snow, and we don't see light,
which
is sometimes produced by the snow in winter time.
Yeah, so all we see is darkness.
Yes.
A bit of stars twinkling, but we have an interesting word here, to play. Do you play with stars?
Who me? No.
Oh, he does.
He does.
So again, the stars to play. The word play makes it a bit more cheerful. So don't like, oh no, so happy. But he has this cheerfulness inside him, playfulness. When he looks at the stars, he knows he can play with them. Yeah, they are still there. So here he is sort of suspended in the air.
Yeah.
He says, I'm sure that I won't let it bring me down.
Yeah, again.
Bring down.
Yeah.
Because down is, well, cold ground and maybe a grave, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we have already here, we have the idea of nothingness, but at the same time playfulness, and playfulness is an attribute of life. Curiosity, playfulness.
And again, I'm thinking maybe a bit prematurely about the next line that I've come with a smooth. Isn't it also because when everything is taken away from you, you are sort of free, and it's up to you how you're going to use your newly found freedom. You might feel this is bought at a very high price, and then there's one solution, or you might really feel free and sort of move smoothly, where you are playing with the stars, playing sort of being playful, because now when you have nothing to lose, so it seems you are free to play around, to sort of to.
Yeah,
if you want to.
If you want to, because what is more important to you? You still have this very deep connection to your love, who's moved to the other side. So everything else at the moment will be of very little importance to you.
Yeah, but again, it's like it does seem logical, or so that if you have this strong connection to your love who is moved away, who is no longer with you, but who is on the other side of it, then she's sort of like pulling you, maybe, or you feel pulled to her. But isn't it then logical to follow where the force is taking you to, instead of staying here and sort of like playing around, enjoying what little you have left to enjoy?
Well, who says it has to be logical? So, a death of someone you know and love creates a, let's say, a gravity pull, like when a ship is sinking. If you're on a boat near it, if you're too near, you'll be sucked in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's also this question. Again, it's physics, it's not metaphysics, it's just normal physics. If your boat, your lifeboat, is too close to the ship, then you'll get sucked in there. If it's a bit, there's some horizon, if you're over it, then you're safe. But here, he's exactly on the edge. So he can decide whether to move his boat a little bit there and get sucked, or a little bit the other way and get free, or to leave some more. Yeah? That is the beauty, because he has life force. He has a lot of life force. He has a very strong will. Yeah? At the same time, he feels a very strong pull.
Yeah.
So that's the conflict between the forces, the point of balance, and we read it, we feel it. It's like, which way does it tip?
Again,
Which way does it go?
if you have strong will and you exercise your will to sort of make sure the person you love stays with you on this side of the reality, and it doesn't happen, and he or she is dead, what happens to your will?
Well, it doesn't depend on your will, it depends on the person's will, whether they stay or go. You can't
they're
do it for
gone.
people.
You exercised your will to keep them alive, and
No. How can you exercise your will to let them stay? Like they have their will to do it. You can't do it for someone else. Yeah, your will is your will, is your life. Their will is their life. Again, if we talk about nature, seasons, then again, all seasons have their time. And if he has this view, this perception of a circle time, a natural time, so he can see that, okay, I think it's too early. I feel it's really heavy on me. But in the sense of nature, that's the right time for his love to go.
It's the right time.
Because winter comes, or the sun goes away. Logical. Again, if you like logic. So, but I'm sure that they won't bring me down. Yeah, he feels the pull, and that's what he, not something, but he says. He says, I will not give in to it. I will. I will stay. Because really, that is what my love would love me to do. She wouldn't want me to die too after her. She would love me to be happy and alive.
To be miserable.
And miserable! Yeah, so she doesn't want me to die, she doesn't want me to suffer. She wants me, because if she loves him too, she wants me to live on. And that's what I do. That's the legacy. I'm sure a statement, I want a statement. Let it bring me down. The rough comes with the smooth. So what is the rough? Oh, okay, she died. What is the smooth? And that is what life is about. So we have the word life in here, again positive, and again talking to himself, like, oh, okay, things happen, and bad things happen, very bad things happen. But it's not an excuse to go and die. Yeah, that's what life is about. So I look at it from life point of view.
Yeah, I'm told about an elderly lady who lost her husband and her son died, and she was a lady of very, well, I knew her sort of, I didn't know her personally, but I sort of heard lots of things about her, so she's like someone I know quite well, and it seemed that she was a person of very strong will, and when both her son and her husband died, she was sort of determined very much to
have more children,
to not let anything that reminds of life to come into her life. So she decided she was physically fit enough to get outside, but she decided to stay in all the time. The only option for her to get out was to go and visit her husband and her son's grave. She was sort of, she did read, she did watch movies maybe, but it seems that all her mind was set on that, and it's sort of like takes very strong will to isolate yourself from everything else that life has to offer, and to only concentrate on the fact that you are miserable and very unhappy because you're. But that's another example of strong will. So your strong will might lead you into that direction, and and again it took her something like, I think, 4 years, and then she was reunited with her husband.
Oh, that long? She wasn't doing it wholeheartedly.
That's what I'm saying. So she was sort of, she was feeling some sort of pressure that kept her here, and she was doing everything she could to tear away from it and go in the direction she wanted to go.
Well, I know an opposite example. I mean, not personally, but a story I've heard about another old lady who was really, really ill, and the doctor said she will die in a month or two. And then what happened is her daughter or son died and left a child. And so she just got up from her bed, okay, there's no one else to look after this child, and there was no trace of any illness in her. And she brought up the baby, no problem. So it's about will. It's all about will. And you can will yourself to death. The body doesn't like the idea, but if you really insist on it, it will follow. So better not insist on it. Better insist on being happy and healthy. Because the idea is that the person lives for like 500 years healthily, happily. And that's the idea.
It was rewarding to be here for 500 years.
Yeah,
for some people 5 years is long enough, 500 years.
Again, that might take some practice. It's a skill like everything else. Mind skill including. Yeah, so if the person is often told from everywhere, hears it from the TV screens, from his parents, sees the example when people die at young age of, I don't know, 75, but they could leave and leave and leave. That's a program. That is something that goes into mind and programs people. They're like, okay, I'm 50, about to get sick and die. Yeah, because that's what they are led to believe, even if it's not true at all. That's what they're led to believe.
But
I mean, I look at my friends in Scotland who are 90 years old, and they climb up to fix the roof, no problem. That's how it's supposed to be. That is how it's supposed to be. Just know where to look. Have a good example in front of you, because your mind, your body, they're clever, they're stupid, they will copy it. Yeah, they copy it all the time. So you need to have a very good company, very good example in front of you. And then you can live to 500 years. Okay, that's what life's about. That is what life's about. So that I'm sure I won't let it bring me down. The rough comes to the smooth. That's what life's about. That is something logical. Yeah. So maybe that's not how he feels, but that's what he tells himself to make it true. Here he kind of opposes logic as saying logic opposing to how he feels to the pressure, and it works. Working on the principle that you'll be here, I can stand alone for quite a while.
How is she going to be here?
You will be here.
You will be here.
Someday, in spring.
You're willing. You're willing to be. Okay.
So again, working on the principle, that's a nice phrase for a song.
We like philosophy, don't we? And metaphysics. Well, 8 more minutes.
8 minutes.
Let's give it a chance.
So again, he says following the tug is easy, but to go the other way, it's a job. You have to work on it. So working on the principle, it's hard. It's not easy to stay here. But if he puts his mind on it, he can do it, and he does it. Working on the principle that you'll be here. That if she dies, it's not forever. They will be reunited later in the great resurrection. I can stand alone for quite a while. So what we see, no people, nothing, just this darkness, emptiness, little stars twinkling, cold, cold stars twinkling, so which is might be a bit depressive. But he says, I can stand alone for quite a while. So again, when he says, not just I can stand alone, but I can stand alone for quite a while, what is the difference?
It's not going to be forever, and what time is left for me here is I'm going to use this time not by just spending all my days mourning lost love, but also doing something to, as he says, play, and he won't let this situation bring him down. Again, somehow he's sure that it's only for a while, which is true both ways. It's true if you believe in what you've called this, what did you say, eternal, how did you call it, eternal resurrection.
Oh, I didn't, but okay.
Yeah, but yes, it's just my memory is, getting old, losing, yeah, having seen enough of this world and so on. Yeah, but it also works in the other way, because if you don't believe in that, then again you know that some time you're going to die, and it's very unlikely that you're going to live to be 500 years old, so maybe it's going to happen a bit sooner than that, and that of course is a while, but you can stand for a while.
How old he is here? Maybe he is 400 years already. Well, no, what I have here, I can stand alone would be just a statement, but I can stand alone for quite a while means the pressure is having its effect on him. He can't resist it. Without this principle, he would be gone in a minute. With the principle, and with something to shield him, he can't stand alone for
The
for
principle
long.
or the illusion?
The principle. Yeah.
Then you have to, again, then you have to prove it. And you can only prove it by sort of...
Well, anyway, I can stand alone for quite a while when he says it, as opposed to just I can stand alone. We can feel the enormous pressure on him every second, every millisecond, every nanosecond. And every second he fights it back.
Isn't it, I don't know, because...
It's still stronger than him.
It's still stronger.
Because it still gets to him. He says, I can stand for quite a while. Means eventually I'll have to give up.
Yeah.
But later rather than sooner.
Yeah. Isn't it like, again, if you just say, talking about musicians and people who say, I can stand alone. So you say, I can stand alone, and then your name is sort of Beethoven, who says, you think that can crush me. Think again. But on being a bit more human, being a bit more realistic, yes, you can't stand it alone for an unlimited period of time, but for a while, yes, it's very...
Yeah, could be.
Could be, yeah. Okay.
So stand alone. Again, we feel his feelings. We feel his feelings. How there's no one to support him, no one to give him a hand. Only darkness, coldness, and all that pressure around him. So what kind of a person is he? What kind of a character? How would you feel left alone in coldness, darkness, and
Thank you, yes.
How would you feel? Happy. I feel happy. I feel happy. So he says, no, I'm stronger than that.
Yeah,
Or at least.
Yes, yeah.
I know I can learn to live the changes of the year. So the same as in the previous bit, I'm sure I won't. Here, I know I can. Not just I won't, I can, but make it stronger. Expressing his will, and not just stating a fact, but also expressing his will. I'm sure, I know, I won't, I can.
Yeah, and again it works better, because if you're just sort of a philosopher, you're saying, according to my calculations and the latest metaphysical data as assembled by, I have strong reason to believe that for a limited period of time I might be able to withstand the pressure of the falsehood. But if you make it, yeah. But then again, maybe it's a good idea, and maybe it's what he's trying to accomplish here, not to think too much.
Yeah, you just say, I can do it, I will do it, I won't let it bring me down.
Yes, I'm very strong. I won't.
Yeah.
What I will.
Excuse me. Just let me have a look at the words.
Yeah, I lost my glasses somewhere.
Okay. I can learn to live. So at the moment he's like a newborn baby. In a sense, because his reality is completely shattered.
Yeah.
And he finds himself in a new reality, which is obviously being new. Obviously, it's very hard on him. The same as if a person moves to some other place, that other place will be hard on him just because it's new. But that's not really say, oh no. You learn, and that is how you continue to live. You move from frame to frame, from world to world, from reality to reality. And if you can't accept the changes, then you die. If you can learn, if you can accept the changes, then you change and you continue living. So why do people die? Maybe because the reality changes too much and they can't adapt to it anymore. Maybe that is what's happening. So as long as you can learn, you can adapt to the new environment, new reality, it's not a problem. You keep living. I mean, that is what happens in monasteries when a person becomes a monk, given a new name, a new identity. And that's a big turn of reality, and then they can change their name again. When they kind of progress.
But in monasteries they're usually given some sort of probation time where they try to be monks and some
but when they become monks. Because if you become a monk, you become a new person, very literally. That's a normal practice in monasteries, and it's not easy.
To become a new person.
You become a new person.
Because
you
it
get
seems
a new
that
name.
most of them don't.
No. You get a new name, you become a new person. It might be very similar to who you used to be. It might be deceivingly similar to who you used to be, but still it's a new person. The same as if someone moves to a new place. You don't have to become a monk to do it, but if you move to a new place, you become a new person in a way, in a small way. Which is why, let's say, elderly people find it harder to move usually to a new place, because they become rooted and it's hard to uproot. But if you're mobile, you can uproot yourself and root yourself in on the new place. And as long as you can do it, you keep living.
If you are mobile and smart.
I know I can learn to live. So we have the word life, live here, repeating. We don't have the word which is opposite to it. We have it in a positive way. I can learn to live, because if you talk to yourself and you want to stay alive, then that's the words you want to use. You don't want to use negative words, because then your brain will focus on the negative words. You focus on what you want, live. So you say, I can learn to live. And then again, the changes of the year. No, just because the brain does not really understand negative words. It just focuses on the idea. The changes of the year, live the changes of the year. Again, adapting to the new reality and moving as nature moves, as opposed to being stationary and broken down each time something changes around you. Being flexible, fluent in the sense of flowing. The changes of the year. So again we have the idea of a circle of time, not just changes, but changes of the year. Things that come and come again and go again naturally. Winter came today, that's the changes of the year. What is year in that case? If winter is like death, then what is year?
Well, that is the cycle of human life. It begins when someone is born in the spring, comes to full bloom in the summer, then someone is harvested, and winter comes finally to take him or her away.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
So I can learn to live the changes of the year. But in this case, it's more than just one life. Because winter comes, but not to him. He will see another spring, and maybe another, and maybe another. You want to say something? Oh, okay. Oh, mellow in the river of your smile is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Because in the river of your smile, can you feel it?
Well, the river, as we discussed, I think, a week ago, is also a symbol of death. There's this famous river where all the dead die.
Or
But
time which is flowing.
time which is flowing, but here it is the river of her smile. And again, it is something, it seems to be something warm, full of sunshine because of the word mellow.
Yeah, so again, the smile is continuous like the river. It's never ending, it's flowing, and he can remember it. He can remember her smile, which is not just drastic, not just quick, occasional smile, but it's a whole river. It's big, it's flowing, it's taking him away with it. And again, it's something positive, a smile. Year, river, the rhyme inside it. So very beautiful. We're spending quite a lot of time today. I know that the season's queen can hear me. Now we have this mysterious season's queen. Who is it? What's she doing there?
That's the person who decides. The season's queen decides, okay, it's winter time now, time to go. Or it's also the queen who can hear and perhaps contributes to someone's stay on this side of the reality.
So basically she's something like gold, but made natural. Because she's female to start with. So Mother Nature, again something which we see as natural, as part of life, part of nature. The season's queen, and again we don't say, oh, she's death. The seasons means we do not make a difference. We do not say, okay, winter is opposed to summer. It's not opposed to.
Yeah.
It's
not like this famous snow queen. Has she come? It's close, but in fact you can feel considerable change when you enter those other rooms because it's much warmer over there.
Yeah, but then you have windows here, and apparently something. Well, that's better.
It's older, yeah. It's
Okay.
older.
So the season's queen, and she's like the fairy queen who can take you away, and you'll be happy, but you'll never come back.
Yeah.
Or you come back and it's 1,000 years later than you expected. I know the season's queen can hear me. So at the moment, the season's queen is the queen of winter, because that is the season at the moment.
Yeah.
So when he says she can hear me, what is it? What can she hear?
She can hear both that he feels lonely. She can hear also all these strong words, I'm sure that I won't let it bring me down. I can stand alone for quite a while, I know, and so on. So she can hear that, and she knows she won't do anything to sort of take me to that part of.
Yeah, so she's bringing longer shadows to the trees. And here trees are like people, I guess. But people are like trees. Trees are like people. She's bringing longer shadows to the trees, and I know she can hear me. Again, I know, I can, she can. All these positive statements. She can hear, I think she can hear him wanting to die and not wanting to die. She can hear his indecision. She's bringing longer shadows to the trees. Perhaps she knows I'd love to have you near me, so she tries her very best to please. Her best to please.
Yeah. And if she is already, she is already there, and the wind knows he'd love to have her near him, then when she's trying to please, she's pulling him into that direction.
So she is around. So at the moment, she can be the spirit of life in summertime. At the moment, she's bringing longer shadows. She is the spirit of death. She is death. She can hear him, and she knows he wants to go over. She knows, she can feel it, and she can play with it again, play with it. And she tries her best to please, again, tries to persuade him that it's a good idea. So he has to oppose that as well. Not just some force, but a force which has a personality, identity. So it's more than opposing a force, it's like wills opposing. The will of the season's queen, and she wants to help him. She wants to please him. She wants him to feel good, and in the way she understands it. She tries her best to please. She's not trying to frighten him or to force him. She tries to be pleasing, so his decision will be made. He will make the decision to go there. And she tries, and the word is tries. So apparently it doesn't really affect him, or he can resist it at least. Yeah. Yeah. Comments?
Well, since you asked,
more tea, yes, please. Yeah. What you can just say what you want to say.
I can just say what I want to say, if I remember what I wanted to say. It was about the Snow Queen in Jose Andersen's story, because her way of changing people was either to bring them to her so that they die, or there was, as far as I remember, this icicle thing that made their heart grow into a sort of a crystal, into sort of ice.
Oh, that's
that is
also
unable to feel.
the white witch from Narnia, who was exactly, I don't know, seducing people. But here we have the season's queen.
Yeah, so she's not she's not like, because the solution to the Snow Queen used was to make people unable to feel anything human. That's not her solution, because yes, you feel lonely, yes, you want to be with her. I can help.
I can help. Yeah, so she's a force of nature, and she feels the way he goes. She doesn't force him. She goes the way he goes. So she's more like a mirror. She tells you the truth. She says, "Oh, I know, in truth you'd like to join her. Tell me it's not true." Well, it is true, but it's not entirely true. Yes, I feel awful. I feel like my world has been destroyed completely. Yes, I can't imagine my life without my love. But, well, thanks all the same, but no. Yeah, so it's really, really serious. It's really, really powerful. Because he has to admit that he wants to go to the other side. He has to admit that the queen only shows him what he is. But he also needs to see that it's not all he is, that there's more to him, which she does not see because she is now on the winter side, so she can only see with the winter aspect in him, and it's really, really strong. It is strong. But then you don't need that much light, maybe, to oppose it. Maybe. She tries her best to please. Oh, like, good luck with that. Tries, but not she does her best to please, or not she pleases me. She tries. Again, there's something childish about it. The way she tries to please him. Like, oh, you feel unhappy? How about I'll give you a sweet? No? 2 sweets? No? 3 sweets? Maybe.
The cats.
Oh, the cats. Okay, let's have a tiny little break. A little bit.
They are closer together.
Right.
Which is the spice they used to sort of, which is the other one. I sort of think I know, but I can't really guess. And it's been bothering me for a while.
What kind of spice are you using here? Something hot, probably pepper.
Okay.
Okay, so what we have here is a really, really amazing situation. A person is in the middle of chaos, in the middle of darkness, all the forces of death are pulling him and kind of coaxing him. And he stands. He can stand there because his heart is full of love, and love shall prevail. That is what allows him to stay alive. We have just the unhappiness, the broken heart of his love being dead. We have death talking to him directly, saying, I'm here, I'm nice, I'm beautiful, come to me. He's like, no, go away, I know it's not true. He doesn't listen to it. Because I guess many people who lose their really beloved people will hear the voice of death, which says, come with me, I'm nice, I can console you. And they might even believe it, silly things. They might even believe it, silly things. But he says, no, I know you're not evil, Miss Queen. You're not evil, you're not trying to hurt me. I know you're trying to help in your way, but thanks, that is not the kind of help I need, thank you. I suppose I'll always have these memories. So we have lots of words like, I'm sure, I know, I suppose. So again, it's personal. So his position. I suppose I'll always have these memories of the days which were so long and lonely, till we are together once again. So all that is left is a memory here. He doesn't say, I'll always have the memories of the times when we were together and happy. He says, I'll always have the memories of this time. Of the time of loneliness.
Yeah, so I'll always feel it. Yeah.
I can overcome it. I can learn to live again with the changes of the year, but I will not forget. I will not pretend it never happened. If I live on, that is not because I forgot. It is not because I decided to turn a blind eye to my suffering to my broken heart. No, that is because I love and I hope, but I will not forget it. I will not let it go. My pain is my treasure in a way. My pain is a big part of who I am.
Well, of course, if you listen to what those psychologists working with bereft people have to say, what they're saying is very often people who feel very unhappy and want to die and grieve a lot also try to get hold of those painful memories, because that's the only connection they feel with the loved one who are now dead ones. Yeah, but what they fear is that if for some reason or another they feel happy again sometime, it's like
betraying.
Yeah.
It's like betraying the love.
Yeah.
So he said, I always have the memories of now, how I am now, my broken heart now, because again, it's big, it's important. If I decide to forget it, then what's the value of our love? Maybe. Or maybe there's no other way, because it's so deep in him.
But again, how do you go about doing it? For many people, the way out is, okay, I feel very unhappy because my loved one died. Let me marry someone else so that she bring at least some sort of happiness back into my life. Is that the way he's saying? Probably not.
No, he says long and lonely. My days will be long and lonely. I know my days will be long and lonely. I will remember each day without you. But I know that we will be together again. Yeah? So he doesn't talk about memories of the past, but rather memories of the future, days to come. Not there yet, but to come. Memories of the days which were so long and lonely. But it's a bit weird here, his position. I will have the memories of the days which were long and lonely. So is he talking about past, or is it like he loved her but she didn't love him, so his days are long and lonely, but when they die they will be happy and she will love him? I don't think that's how it works.
It's like looking into the future and then from this future point in time looking back and at those lonely and unhappy long days, long shadows.
Yeah, so how do you overcome it? Maybe you just say, like here, well, I'm going to die anyway, so better later than sooner. And if she is on the other side, then there is no time for her, and it would make no difference to her if I die now or in another 100 years. To her it will be the same, because she is now timeless. Maybe. Till we are together once again. So again, it's a statement. Maybe we'll be together once again. When? Till we'll be together once again. The days which are so long and lonely, till the longer shadows. So that's interesting how he repeats the word long and longer. So my days are long, but they're nothing compared to eternity. Those shadows will be longer shadows. And all the golden meadows.
And now there's also light in it.
Light and light. Because the meadow is a place which is alive. And finally we see some ground. rather than just being in an empty space or in outer space. Now we have meadows, we have ground, we have happy ground with flowers, with grass. If we say meadow, that's what we see. And if it's golden,
and the sun shining.
the sun is shining, but obviously you can say golden meadows is like a heaven, the other world, and the longer shadows, and the longer shadows can be sad and frightening, but the golden meadows is where you get after. And they are waiting. And golden again, golden, when you say something is golden, it does not belong to this reality, it comes from the other reality. From the point of view of the one who stands here, all we can see is darkness. But it's not because it's dark, it's because we can't see it. We don't have senses to see it. So it appears to be dark because there's nothing we can see. But once they move, you discover it's not dark at all, it's golden and it's full of life. It's a meadow. The same as so-called dark matter. It's not something that you can't see or can't measure. It's something beyond the paradigm. Yeah, so you can't perceive it. So, in a sense, when we talk about the, let's say, scientific approach, if you can call it science these days, still it's the same kind of poetry. The way people describe their reality, it doesn't matter if they use words or so-called science. At any point of history, the picture of the world reflects the state of mind. So now they say, well, black holes, dark matter, which is another way of saying, we have no bloody idea what's going on here, help! Really. So they invent more and more fantastic theories. And all of them just say, we have no idea what's going on. Okay. So long and lonely till the longest shadows and all the golden meadows tell me that the time has come for us to live again. Or in the other version, to love again. So live and love are the same thing or nothing. Yeah, so he says, you're dead, I'm not dead, and at the moment it's a big issue. I have to really struggle to stay alive. I know that if I can do it, then I will live on maybe easier than at the moment, still with some pressure. But I go through it, I come through it, and in the end we'll reunite on the golden meadows and we'll live again and love again. Comments? Comments? So is it a typical song, do you think? Okay, you write a song, you want people to like it and to sing it. Is that the subject you bring up?
No, I think a good song for people to like it is the song that contains as few words as possible, but they never stop repeating lines and the same rhythm and the same thing, so it's not, because there's not much repetition in here.
We don't even have the chorus.
We don't even have the chorus, and it's again where repetition whatever repetition is there in this song, it's the kind of repetition that you normally meet in very good poetry, where they don't just repeat words because they have nothing else to say.
Well, if you talk about songs, then they don't repeat the chorus because they have nothing else to say, obviously. It's the composition, the structure, the bridges, the connections. But well, as Ken Hensley used to joke, if you want to write a hit song, then yeah, you write something where you have 3 chords, a few words, and the chorus, which doesn't have any words in it, or it just goes. Then everyone loves it, because everyone can sing at least 3 chorus, and everyone can play it on the guitar calls with only 3 simple chords. But well, that's a joke, of course. Some kind of truth to it. But this one, as you can see, is a bit different.
Yeah, and it is unpredictable, I think. Because good music composed by good composers is usually unpredictable, so you might predict some points in it, but then it leads you somewhere where you didn't really predict, because if you can predict everything from the very beginning till it stops, then what you can do is basically you can write this piece of music just exactly as someone else wrote it, and I think more or less that's also true for the lyrics, because very often you know that they're going to rhyme, and then you, as you listen to the song, you already know what the next line is going to be. So that's not the case here, and that's of course what makes it outstanding, and again, what it probably isn't the best prescription for a hit, but as you say, it's well known, so it still works. It means that there are some people who can enjoy good poetry and good music and good songs. Yeah.
You got something to say? Yeah, good idea. Yeah, good bit. Good point. Right, if that's all, we can safely finish.